Hey everyone, Teresa here. Welcome to my channel, Lost My Thread. Today is going to be a sewing plans video, so I'm going to be talking through everything I'm planning to make over the next few months with one thing that I could really use your help with at the end. So if you're interested in knowing what I'm going to be up to over the next few months, you're in the right place. So I'm a planner. I like to make plans, make lists, cross things off of lists. All that stuff is really my kind of thing. So for sewing, it is certainly no different. I have quite some extensive sewing lists for different things, but what I'm going to talk to you about today is just the next few months, things that I am intending to make, knowing that there could well be some extra things that creep in there if they strike my fancy. So first of all, I will say that there are a couple of gifts that I'm going to be making that I will not be talking about today for reasons of not wanting to spoil any surprises. But besides the gifts that I'm doing, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Peppermint Wrap top that I'm planning to make. So Peppermint Magazine puts out an issue every 3 months. Each time it comes out, there's a free magazine or a free sewing pattern that you can download from their website with free instructions. They do now ask for a donation if you can, just to support the magazine going forward, but I downloaded this a little while ago with the plan to make what I'm going to be making. So the Peppermint Wrap top is a wrap top that is got a bust dart, and it's a 3/4 length sleeve, quite a sort of loose open sleeve. It's a cropped wrap top, so it finishes really sort of just under the waistline, and it's recommended to be made with lightweight fabrics. When I've looked on the Instagram hashtag for it, I have really fallen in love with all the linen versions and decided that I needed to go with some linen just to kind of scratch the itch that I had for this top. So the fabric that I'm going to be using comes from Sew Me Sunshine. It's a viscose linen blend. So if you can see the color, if it comes up well, it's a nice sort of powder blue, light blue color. It is nice and drapey. I would say definitely on the lighter weight for a linen. Like I said, it's a viscose linen, so it's 70% viscose, 30% linen. It is really lovely and soft against the skin. I think it will work really well because it has got that little bit of drape. There's some areas where it kind of pulls up when it ties around. I think it's going to work really well. And the biggest reason I wanted to make this top is because it's a cropped shirt. Most of the tops that I wear are on the longer side just because I have tended to wear a lower cut trousers in general. I have recently made a pair of Winslow culottes, which finish really very much up at the waistline. Because it finishes up at the waist, I don't really feel like I've got the right tops to wear with it. I feel like most of the things just look a bit odd, a little bit too long over those culottes, and a lot of them are just a little bit too loose fitted around the waist to be tucked in as well. So I was trying to think about what I could make that would go with this, and I think this one should be a winner. So I'm hoping that one turns out well. I'm also planning to make the Sorrento Bucket Hat, which is designed by Elbe Textiles. This is one that used to be a free pattern, but they have recently started asking for a small donation. I believe it's about £1 in the end, not very much, but all the proceeds go to a charity. The Sorrento Bucket Hat, there are a ton of versions going around. Lots of people have made this one, and it's one that I've been looking forward to making. I am somebody who has a pretty small head, and hats don't usually fit me very well. They are usually pretty loose, and I don't love wearing a hat that doesn't fit me very well. It doesn't stay on my head if the wind blows, all that kind of stuff. But I really like hats, and I think that they suit me, but I just haven't been able to buy them. So this is the joys of sewing. You can make things that are just how you want them, that fit you really well. So the Sorrento Bucket Hat, I'll just put some pictures up, but it is a bucket hat, as the name would suggest. It's got some optional top stitching, rows of top stitching around the brim, which I'm definitely going to add because I think that's pretty cool. It has the option of being reversible as well, so you can choose to make the full outside and inside out of 2 different fabrics, so that way you can reverse it and have 2 different options when you're wearing it. So I thought, why not make 2 hats when I'm making 1 hat? So the fabric that I'm using is leftover from a pair of shorts that I made recently. So I'll show you just for context. These are the Chi-Town chino shorts that I made recently. And it's this wonderful coral, orangey, pinky denim fabric from Sew Me Sunshine. And this has got some white top stitching details on there, just to show you for reference. So I'm gonna be making the hat with the same fabric. I've already cut it out because when I was cutting out the shorts, I saw I had a decent amount left over and decided while I've got my rotary cutter out, while I'm got my cutting mat out, let's just go ahead and cut out the hat as well. So I'm going to be using one side of the hat will be this fabric, and then the other side I'm going to be using this navy blue canvas fabric that I've got left over from a bag that I made. And I think the two will look really cool together. So when you're wearing the blue side, you'll just see the peak of the pink on the inside of the brim, and vice versa when I'm wearing it the other way around. The only thing that I'm really not sure about is what color to do the top stitching. So I would really like to do white top stitching on there so that it matches the shorts. If it isn't too matchy, I can't decide if that's a bit too matchy. And then only thing I would say is I don't know if the white would be as good on the navy blue. Maybe it would be cool. Maybe, I don't know, is it a bit too kind of sailor's cappy? I'm not quite sure yet what I'm gonna do there. The other option I thought is to use navy blue thread so that it will not be as visible on the navy side, but on the coral pink side, it will really pop against that as well. Still on the fence about that one, but I'm gonna be doing something along those lines for sure. Details pending. The other thing that I'm going to be making is another version of the Chi-Town chinos. So the version I made is the shorts pattern, which was the original pattern that came out. It's by Alina Design and Sewing Company. They also did an expansion pack with long pants, trouser version, and I definitely want to make those. I do find that pants don't usually fit me terribly well. Surprise, surprise. I did a lot of work to get those shorts to fit me well. There was a lot of adjustments that I made, and I'm really happy with the fit with those now. So it should be pretty easy then to just transfer that over to the pants pattern and go ahead and make some long chino pants. The fabric that I'm using for this one is a cotton twill that I got from Sister Mintaka. So it's this really great red, bold, kind of punchy color. This is actually a Robert Kaufman twill, which is definitely really great quality, I can tell. I will be having these for many years to come, which is pretty cool. These ones are 4.9 ounce cotton twill, so they're definitely a bottom weight. They're fairly sturdy, but they're not super heavy and thick or anything. They're, I think, a good weight. I should be able to wear these in the autumn, and in the UK where I live, I should get away with it in the winter, to be honest, as well. That usually should do me quite fine. But I do really love the really bright, bold color. It was actually called Paprika when I bought it. I think I was expecting it to be slightly more orange, but I really do love the color that it came as anyway, so I think it's going to work really well. I'm excited to make those. The Chi-Town chinos have quite a few options when you're making them. So they have these really cool slash pockets, which I think look really good, kind of classic chino style. They've also got belt loops, you know, full zip fly. I did the button fly or the button closure at the top of the fly for the shorts, but you can also use the hook and bar closure, which I will use for the pants version because I think it will just look a little bit cleaner and neater around the top. On the back, you've got different back pocket options. So when I made them before, I did a patch pocket with like angular patch pocket rather than rounded. There's also a rounded patch pocket. Both of those also come with pocket flaps if you wanted. But the expansion pack version with the pants also has a welt pocket option. And I think those will really be just a cool option. It will look really classic, clean, neat, if it all goes well, which is obviously what I'm hoping for. But these are overall a fairly semi-fitted, I would say, full-length pants, slightly tapered in the leg. They are a mid-rise, so they're not too high, not too low. Really, I think a really nice fit and shape the kind of pants that I would like to buy if I could find the ones that fit me. So these should be a really cool one to make, and I'm definitely excited about having some bright red pants. I think that's going to be a lot of fun and make me smile a little bit in the colder weather. I like to have a little punch of color here and there where I can, even when it's a bit cold and grim outside. Other thing I'm going to be making, I have already cut out as well, but I don't have it with me to show you. I've got a little scrap of the fabric instead just to show you. So I'm going to be making the Labreya Tee, which is a shirt that I have made quite a few versions of. I've actually made 5 different versions of this in total, including one hacked dress version with a waist tie. And it's something that is a really great basic that I just love the fit. I love the shape. When you find something that works well, I'm definitely a fan of just going with it. And as long as you're making things that you're enjoying making and you feel like they're gonna suit your style, fit into your wardrobe, why stick with, you know, just one of each pattern? So when I find something I like, I go for it. So this will be version number 6. I think each time I've made it, I've done some slight variation just to make it a little bit different for me. But this is a very simple top you can make with either woven or jersey fabrics, and I've done both. And there's a couple of different versions with some bias binding around the edges, and then there's one with just kind of a folded binding on the inside, which is what I'm going to be doing this time round. It's got a dropped sleeve, which I'm a fan of, so it's all one piece on the front, and then the back is a separate piece. This pattern as well is something that comes in different bust sizes, which I'm always a big fan of. So it's made by Halfmoon Atelier, that's the pattern designer, and I do believe all of their patterns come with multiple bust sizes. So this top doesn't have any bust darts, but the way that it's cut, it still fits me really well without having to do my standard full bust adjustment. So overall, one that I will go back to again and again. The version that I'm going to be making next is with this navy blue and pink spotty viscose fabric. This has a tiny bit of stretch to it. Don't think I'm gonna need the stretch in the version that I'm making, but it does have a little tiny bit of stretch to it, a little bit of give to it. So depending what you were making with it, you may want to have that little extra stretch. It is a viscose fabric, but it is not super light. I would say it's a slightly light to medium weight for a viscose. And I like that because I feel like it's got a little bit more kind of body and will hang well when I'm wearing it, but it's still got that lovely drape and fluidity that you're gonna always expect from a viscose. This is actually a Mind the Maker fabric. I've never gotten any Mind the Maker fabric before, and I can see why it is as popular as it is. It is really high quality. I can feel it's really beautiful quality and so soft, like really, really soft to touch. I think it's going to be a really nice one to wear. The difference that I'm going to do with this version, because like I said, I usually like to do a little bit of something different when I make this top because I've made it so many times before. The back, I'm going to add a little extra seam along the back, and then I'm going to leave a little bit open at the top of the neckline, the back neckline, for a little bit of a slit opening, and then add a loop and button closure at the top of that, just for a little bit of something different. I think it will be nice with the drapey fabric, and I'm pretty excited to see how that one turns out. So the final thing that I'm going to be making that I really could use some help and advice about is the Sallie Maxi Dress. So the Sallie Maxi Dress came paired with the Sallie Jumpsuit, both by Closet Core Patterns. This is a very popular pattern. I am currently wearing the jumpsuit version. I've made a jumpsuit. I've also made a Sallie Maxi Dress as well. It's got a nice side slit at the bottom of the maxi dress. The one that I'm wearing, so the jumpsuit that I've made, is made with a viscose jersey. The maxi dress that I made was a cotton jersey, and that was a little bit of a more heavier weight fabric. Only really the difference between like a cotton and a viscose jersey. It's not super heavyweight, but it was a little bit more structured, didn't have as much drape to it. So the original design is actually a fully lined bodice. So you make two of both, sort of the front and back of the bodice, and stitch them together so that it's just one sort of fully lined bodice to the waistband. but the cotton jersey version that I made, I didn't think would be nice, particularly in the warmer weather, to wear with that much cotton jersey kind of padded up. So I did a little hack version, which is actually on the Closet Core Patterns website, where I added a little neckband, V-neck band, just to avoid having to have a completely lined bodice and to be able to close up the top of the dress, or the top of the dress. Other details on this dress or on the jumpsuit, either way, is it's got a little elastic waist channel. When I have done both versions, really, I like that you can have a little bit of blousing, so you can have a little bit hanging over the top of the waistband there. And I really loved this jumpsuit. I love both, to be honest with you, because I made a really, nice bright colored version of the dress. But I wanted, ideally, I've been having this vision since I made these two, of having a viscose jersey maxi dress. So when I have seen some versions of these, I love the way that it hangs and it falls, and it ends up looking surprisingly elegant for something that's so simple to put together. So this, just to say as well, is another sort of drop shoulder bodice. Overall, really quick make, really easy to put together. I did have to do a little full bust adjustment on this one just to get the fit right, but it fits me really well. And now that I've gotten my adjusted pattern, I just, I can bash one out pretty quickly. But the fabric that I've got is something that I was basically been waiting for. Once I had this vision in my mind, I knew what I wanted, and I was just waiting for the right fabric to come along. I didn't want to rush it and just pick something that seemed good enough, because what's the point if it wasn't what I really wanted? So the fabric that I've got is this really fantastic viscose jersey, and I really hope the color comes up because it's all about the color here. This cobalt blue with the most incredible, like almost liquid drape to it. It's got a huge amount of stretch, so it does need to be a bit stretchy, just to sort of fit over you, get it on and off. But it is gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. It's got a tiny bit of little like sort of sheen to it, almost like a crepey sheen. I'm not sure if it's gonna come across. But this fabric came from Salvage and Bolts. So Salvage and Bolts stock a lot of what are called ex-designer fabrics, and this is an ex-designer fabric. This is ex-Louis Vuitton fabric. So it's fabric that was produced by Louis Vuitton to use for their clothing, but then for whatever reason, this was either left over because they didn't need it, or they adjusted the fabric or the colors for their final collection, and so that fabric just kind of sits around left over, can go into landfills. But shops like Salvage and Bolts are able to get those in and sell them to the public. So this is a really high-end fabric, really high quality fabric, and it is, because it's from Salvage and Bolts, she has the most fantastic names for these. So Dibs, who runs the pattern company, the fabric shop, she comes up with these really wonderful names for all of her fabrics. Even if you're not shopping for fabric, I would highly recommend looking on the Salvage and Bolts website and just browsing the fabric names, and you will be highly entertained. I love them. They just make me laugh all the time. So this one is called I Am As Plain as Day, But I Am Special. But I will say they all have just fantastic names. But this fabric, I think, would be so perfect for the long maxi dress that I'm envisioning. Because it's going to be a big long maxi dress in that drapey fluidy fabric, I'm almost expecting it to be like evening gowny kind of feel. But I'm 100% planning to wear it to work, and I really don't care if I'm ultra fancy. I'll even be ultra fancy just going around town. I'm totally fine with that. I don't need a special event to wear special kinds of things. But I'm super excited about making this dress. The only thing that I'm not sure about is what to do on the back. So the version of the maxi dress that I'm wearing is the original design. As you can see, it's a V-neck on the front, but it's also a V-neck on the back. Now it has this tie that keeps it together at the back of the neckline. When I did the maxi dress before out of the cotton jersey, I didn't want all this faff, and I just did a straight line, just straightened out the top of the neckline so that it's not a V-neck, it's just rounded at the back. But for this dress, I definitely do want the V-neck version. I do want some back kind of detail there, and I would like to have something that's ideally, you know, in the feel of the original dress and jumpsuit. But I have to say, every single time I put this on, I have to tie it. And because it's the jumpsuit, I'm tying this all the time because it's untying this is how I get in and out of this jumpsuit. But for the dress version, I don't have to be tying that every single time I put it on. And it is a little bit of a pain because if you tie it a little bit too loose, you're kind of gaping out in the front. If you tie it a little bit too tight, the back doesn't kind of line up quite right. So I would prefer to have something that's a bit more fixed at the back, but I still want to try and keep that V-neck, nice sort of neckline detail. So I had a couple of ideas of things I was thinking of doing. One would be to still make these little fabric loops. I think they're pronounced rouleau loops. I'm not very good with my French. Rouleau loops are basically little loops of fabric, and possibly doing like a little crisscross. So one in one direction from the top of the V down to maybe the middle, and then another in the opposite direction from the top of the V down to the middle. I might do maybe a couple of each of those, or just one, or possibly just do like a straight line across the top of the V, so it'll have a similar look to what I've got without the little bow in the middle. Possibly two little strips of the loops going along like that. Honestly, I'm not sure, and I feel like there's probably some amazing idea that I have not even thought of. And if any of you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, if anything that I've said sounds like, oh my God, yeah, you have to do that, you need to make it like that, please tell me. Or if you have an even better idea, I would love to hear about it. I need to decide how I'm gonna finish the back of this dress because I really wanna make it and I really wanna wear it, but I don't know what to do. So yes, please leave some comments down below if you've got any ideas or suggestions of how I should finish the back of this dress. So that is everything that I'm planning to do for now, I would say, for the next few months. We'll see how I get on with all of it, especially with those gifts thrown in, see how much time I get in my life to get everything done. But these are my plans, and that's all I can say. So I will be definitely adding or posting about each of these makes as they make them over on my Instagram, which is @lostmythread. I will do a little roundup when I've finished sort of a little next batch of sewing over the next few months, and then I can tell you about my plans for the coming months after that. So do check in back here if you would be interested in seeing how I manage with all of my plans for now. But like I said, if you want more kind of live updates as each thing is made, check me out over on Instagram. If you enjoyed my video today, please do like and subscribe, and I hope to see some of you again next time. Bye.